What's up, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Chasse. Today, we're going to bring you more alpha and tell you what is going on in the markets. Now, we have had an entirely volatile day, and you might ask, what the hell is going on? Is Bitcoin going down more? Some people are calling for 21K, or it's about to skyrocket through the roof. You know, I told you guys yesterday that we had major events happening, and you could have said, yeah, well, people always say that. But for context, let me show you in just a second. I'm going to recap all of the major things that have happened in the past 24 hours. And in fact, this is my promise to you going forward. On this channel, I'm going to cover all of the hottest alpha, the most important altcoins, the most important narratives, the trends, everything that you need to know on a daily basis. This is the only channel in crypto that you need to watch to get the entire alpha, to make sure that you can capitalize and maximize your portfolio when the markets flip bullish, and how to prepare for that. That is my promise to you guys. So if you like that, make sure you like this video. If you're not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel and let's get into it. So let's recap these last 24 hours on what's going on, because it has been absolutely insane. So my Twitter is the best place to go for alpha. We're just updating on a regular basis, many times a day, covering everything. So make sure you're following me there at Kyle_Chasse. Actually, X, it's called now. Crypto chaos, $1 billion in liquidations as BTC dumps, but ETH Futures gets the green light. So yesterday, the market went to death spiral, roller coaster ride, in the likes that we haven't seen for ages. Let's check it out. So the Bitcoin meltdown and why the nosedive. So we had the Evergrande crisis. Now, back in 2021, we talked about Evergrande, and I'll go into it a bit more on in just a second here. We also had SpaceX rumors that they sold $373 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, that is just speculation at this point, and we'll make sure to update you in Twitter and in a video when we find out if that was actually true or not. But that could have likely caused some of the sell-off. I mean, you know, anything that Elon does, people FOMO in or FOMO out on it. Liquidations and overdrive. We had the biggest day in liquidations since the FTX collapse. Let that sink in for a second. But that doesn't mean that necessarily it's a bad thing, right? It's always darkest before the dawn. And yeah, it's so we had volatility, the highest it's been in a very long time. Now, volatility is good. We want to see volatility in the market. That means things are getting exciting again. We have been in a stable coin situation where the market has moved sideways for months and months and months. Finally, we're seeing some volatility. It was to the downside, but this looks like severe market manipulation. And things happened directly after this market manipulation, and we'll get into that in just a minute. I'm going to go into a lot of this video. After this video is finished, you're going to have a very good picture of what's going on, and most importantly, what event could happen early next month that could send things into a rocket ship moving forward. So let's go into it. So what actually caused the BTC dump yesterday? So let's cut through the noise and dive into what actually triggered the recent Bitcoin nosedive, at least according to CoinDesk. So we had this, but it's time to debunk the myths and highlight the underlying dynamics. Myth busted. Contrary to trending beliefs, SpaceX actually isn't the culprit for the Bitcoin plunge. Very important. They wrote down 373 million of BTC, but no confirmation of actually selling. So what's going on with the market dynamics? Long squeeze. The sudden market drop was classic case of long squeeze, where rapid decline in price prompts a cascade of long position liquidations. This was intentional market manipulation, and the exchanges made out like bandits on this one. Massive day, over $1 billion in liquidations. Structure and liquidation. Top tier traders point towards market structure issues, and a surge in liquidations as a real catalyst. Majority of liquidations occurred on OKX. A flat and relatively illiquid market paves the way for abrupt movements, the perfect condition for vicious volatility. So what experts are saying, we have Lewis Harland from Decentral Park Capital remarks, with the Grayscale decision looming, BTC's open interest took a shift. The drop beneath 28,500 led to massive volume of long-facing liquidations, combined with the preemptive spot selling intensified the fall. Exactly what we said. So while it's tempting to pin market turbulence on headline events, Evergrande, or big name players, reality often lies in complex interplays of market mechanisms Yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below if this is accurate. So again, SpaceX wrote down $373 million of Bitcoin. This was just brought to everyone's attention, and people speculated that this was something that caused the sell-off. It is still unconfirmed if they actually did or not. We will bring you updates on that as it comes into it. So let's talk about Evergrande for a second. Evergrande is a massive, massive Chinese real estate firm, predominantly invested in commercial real estate. Now, when we had COVID come through, it accelerated the work from home narrative, right? And this led to everybody leaving the office, and most companies realized that they could function as efficiently without having to pay the overhead of office costs. So what happened after COVID is that a lot of people didn't move back into offices. They saved a lot of money. I mean, corporate office rent is usually very expensive, especially in cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, and actually all around the world. So if you can save as a company, you know, 10, 20, 30, $100,000 a month by not having the office space, you could do it. So this has caused a massive global problem in the commercial real estate space. And Evergrande, as a massive company, is $300 billion heavily in debt, which is massive. So we're starting to see a collapse in the real estate market. And this is what caused a lot of fear. So the filings will allow Evergrande to protect assets in the US as they work out possible deal with creditors. So the real question here is, are they going to get bailed out or not, right? And we will see what happens there. Again, crypto liquidations were massive, $1 billion in the past 24 hours. This is, again, the largest liquidations ever since the FTX collapse. So again, it usually, we usually see, think about the COVID collapse, what happens, we usually see this kind of severe sell-off or collapse before we see, good upside movement. So as the story develops, as we get into this, you'll start to find out kind of where we're going as a possible thesis of the months to come. So you can see here that the crypto volatility index actually yesterday was the highest that we've had in a very long time, right? So we are at 45.36, and this is good. You want to see volatility in the market, right? You want to see volatility because when things aren't volatile, traders aren't trading, people get bored and they just have no interest in the market. But you can actually make money trading when volatility picks up. It's a good sign that things are starting to get interesting again. We want volatility in the market. Okay, so here's another big thing that had happened. So ETH Futures were actually approved or are poised to get approved in the United States. They would join the Bitcoin Futures ETFs as they are already approved. Oh, sorry about showing this to you guys. But here it is. Now, a lot of people might speculate that, that this could potentially be a bad thing because when the CBOE approved the Bitcoin Futures ETF, it actually caused the end of the bull run. And so a lot of people might point to this and say, that they might point to this and say that this is going to be a negative thing. This could cause a lot more volatility, a lot more downward price action because people might short ETH. And that would be something similar to what happened with the Bitcoin ETF. But we have a much, much different market today than we did back then, right? We have institutional buying like crazy, BlackRock giving the green signal that Bitcoin is here to stay. You've got Fidelity, you've got all these guys who are now positioned to enter the market. Plus, we have the halving coming up. Historically, we know exactly what happens with the halving. So it would be silly. It would be actually almost suicidal, in my opinion, right now, for institutions to be shorting anything like ETH or Bitcoin. It's just too much positive things. And literally, the BlackRock ETF could get approved any day. In fact, we're going to get into that in just a second here. But this is why I think this is very different. It's also setting a regulatory framework that maybe this sets the path for the Bitcoin ETF to get approved. So Grayscale, another thing on my Twitter, guys, again, just go follow. Grayscale ETF decision on the edge of our seats. Let's dive into decisions, dates, and unexpected moves that might be shaping the future of crypto ETFs and unleashing major price action for Bitcoin and the markets at large. So this talks all about the timeline. So August 15th resolution hopes. Speculation were rife that Grayscale had a major resolution in store. It's been 180 days since the filing. See this tweet. We'll get into that in a second. Hold that thought. Just when we were gearing up for Grayscale revelation, the tweet made it clear. Circle back this Friday at 11 a.m. So today, we have a very, very important decision coming up actually any minute now. By the time you watch this, it might already be out. But this is the Grayscale lawsuit versus the SEC. And most people are in speculation that this is actually going to go in favor of Grayscale. So if it's positive, it could send shockwaves into the market and further the case that Bitcoin spot ETF is only a matter of when, not if, right? And this is really, really significant. So be watching this closely. I will update you guys on Twitter as soon as we find out. Again, if you're following me, you'll probably see this before the video even comes out. So one really important thing to notice here as we blow this up is you can see that BlackRock, the BlackRock date is September 2nd of when the SEC needs to make a decision. So if things go well today on the Grayscale SEC court case, there's speculation that potentially we might actually see a decision that favors the BlackRock ETF to pass on the 2nd of next month, right? And one thing that I will say for sure is that we know how powerful BlackRock is. I talked about it time and time again. If you just Google or go to YouTube and look at BlackRock and Larry Fink, how powerful are they? You'll see tons of videos talking about how they rule the world. They literally own everything, including the government, including SEC. So let's talk about for a second how BlackRock makes their money. BlackRock makes their money on success fees, essentially the money that they manage, which now is about $12 trillion under management. All the profit that they make plus management fees. So just for managing that $12 trillion, they get godly amounts of management fees. But more importantly, the success fees. So the money they make for their clients, they're taking a cut. So think about it. When would you want the Bitcoin ETF to be approved? And you want to be in a position to make the most money for your clients as possible. Well, obviously you're going to want to do it when the Bitcoin price is as low as possible. So it might make sense. It might make sense that this market manipulation happening right now to drive the price of Bitcoin down is intentional to pave the way. We might even go lower, right? I mean, right now, if you're BlackRock, it might be a good decision to actually try to cause some fear, create some FUD, and drive the price down as low as possible, because the second that they get the approval, and they probably already know when that is, maybe it's the 2nd of next month, they have a lot of salesmen, right? They've got a lot of salesmen, and they will have their sales guys, for all of the high net worth individuals and clients that they manage their monies. As soon as that gets approved, boom, guess what? On the phone. Hey, hello? Yeah, Larry, this is, or Frank, this is your associate over here, your VIP manager at BlackRock. Yeah, we just want to let you know that we now have Bitcoin offer for you. I highly suggest that you take, 1 to 5% of your portfolio and put it in Bitcoin. What do you think? Yeah, that sounds good, man. Thanks. Let's do that. And they're going to do this for everybody, right? And this is why in yesterday's video, I talked about the fact that that Tom Lee from Fundstrat said that as soon as this Bitcoin ETF gets approved, we could see $150,000 like that. And that would just be the beginning of things. This could be the catalyst for major, major market movement. So let's go into this next one. No regrets on CNBC covers BTC price in light of BlackRock ETF filing. Bitcoin has two vectors that drive price. One is adoption. Larry Fink coming out and saying, I believe in Bitcoin. BlackRock and Invesco have a lot of salesmen, will drive price adoption. That's what I just talked about. I've talked about this before as well. Larry Fink being out on public television, encouraging all the other fund managers to come out and be supportive of Bitcoin. This is really good for us. They are the industry's biggest influencers at the moment. And some other really important dates to pay attention to. So on October 5th, you got Grayscale this versus SEC, the final decision deadline. You've got January 10th, the ARK Invest ETF final deadline. On September 2nd, this is just in about 2 weeks, BlackRock and Fidelity ETF soft deadline. So this is what we're speculating that potentially this might all be shaping up for this ETF to get approved. right? Now, a lot of people are saying that Bitcoin's going way lower and we're looking at doomsday for the rest of the year. But remember, we have presidential elections coming up. That needs to be a bullish market. We've got the Bitcoin halving coming up, all these events that we talked about. Again, the most important thing is that BlackRock and these other institutions want to be able to sell their clients Bitcoin at cheaper numbers. Right now is great. 26,000 is great. 25,000 is even better. 24,000 would be the best because they know that if they can get their people in at $24,000, $25,000, and it goes all the way up to $200,000, they're making their fees on all of that profit from all their customers. And it's inevitable that's going to happen. Do you know how big that payday will be for BlackRock when that happens? It's obvious, right? It's obvious, guys, what's going on here. The only question is not if, it is when. So again, if you're following me on Twitter, make sure that you're following because I'm going to update you guys on all these events as they happen in real time. I'm going to drop them like that right away, dropping alpha for you here every single day, guys. This is my promise to you to make sure that if you watch this channel every day, that you will know exactly what's going on in the market. You have the best coverage, the best alpha, and know exactly what to do. I've been in space for 11 years. I'm going to bring all of that knowledge, all the alpha to you guys on this channel. Like the video, share it with your friends. It would mean a lot to me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.